An island-wide power outage sets off a communication shutdown.
I can say from my 25 plus years in this industry, an outage of this magnitude is the most significant I've ever experienced.
Phone services, internet, and even landlines shut down. Hear how executives are reacting. And the father of party politics laid to rest. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, today was not a good day for the country's utilities. An island-wide power outage affected residents and businesses, and nationwide communication by telephone was impossible. For about 4 hours today, BEC's New Providence consumers were without power. According to a statement from the corporation, it all began at 8:14 this morning when a surge on BEC's system cut power. Power was restored by noon to all areas. Now, BEC assures its customers that it is taking the necessary steps to ensure that these occurrences are, if not eradicated, minimized with little inconvenience to consumers. Meantime, BTC claims that its system went down nationwide at about the same time as BEC's outage, but they're not blaming the power company for the problems they had and are still having in some areas. Hear their explanation in this report from Altavi's Munnings.
This is not a good day for BTC.
It was shortly after 8 o'clock Monday morning when a power outage hit the Bahamas Telecommunication Company's Network Management Center on Poinciana Drive. This disconnected broadband, wireless, and wireline service nationwide, and translating that into numbers equals some 350,000 plus customers. BTC's president and CEO Jeff Houston confirmed to reporters at a late Monday afternoon press conference that an engineer team has been working around the clock to restore service. First up was restoration for wireless customers, then slowly came service restoration for broadband users. Naturally, the essential services like 911 and the hospital received immediate attention.
We do recognize that we're going to have a little bit of a challenge to recover a lot of that faith in our customers, their confidence in us. But I can say that we are absolutely committed to continuing on this journey to modernize and fix up BTC and to, in the end, bringing a significantly better experience to our customers.
As the majority of BTC services are expected to be fully operational by Monday evening, the entire process is time-consuming. BTC Senior President for Technical Services, Antonio Stubbs, pointed out that the company will do all it can to prevent a repeat episode.
The new network that we're building, which will be totally different from the legacy network, will have resiliency both online, geographical resiliencies, redundancies as well. So hopefully, in the very near future, we won't see these kinds of outages happening again in our network in another couple of months or so, as we totally build out the new next generation network and move away from the legacy networks.
That means we have to invest even more in our network. If we have to change the design, if we have to look at our processes, if we have to look at our people, we're going to look at absolutely everything to do everything we can to avoid anything like this happening again.
Mr. Houston announced that a full investigation has been launched to determine the exact cause of Monday's nationwide outage. Phone company officials can't put a price tag on the problem yet. We asked the BTC head if officials suspect sabotage. As we understand, cable and wireless communication officials are reportedly in town.
Right now, given that it is such a rare occurrence that we have to look at all options, and we believe that will take us a little bit of time to get to the bottom of it. We believe it'll take us a few days to do a proper investigation.
Now, while BTC officials focus on their internal probe, they anticipate issue further with Bahamas Electricity Corporation representatives on any potential damage sustained. Altavi's Munnings, ZNS News.
Well, today's island-wide power outage had absolutely no impact on Cable Bahamas operations. That according to head of marketing David Burrows. He told ZNS News that the company's backup generator maintained its cable, broadband and telephone platforms. He noted that cable officials contacted telephone consumers who were satisfied that they could still make a call off the island during the power outage. National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage told a prisons conference today that there should be a distinction between the treatment of serious offenders and petty criminals when it comes to incarceration. He was opening the conferences of the Caribbean Heads of Corrections and Prison Services and the Caribbean Association of Corrections when he explained why he feels the penal system is being unduly overburdened.
National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage is not alone in his view.
The evidence is clear that only when prisons are used as the sanction of first resort for hardened, dangerous, violent offenders, but the place of last resort for petty, minor offenders, society tends to be safer, and remediation amongst wrongdoers seems more assured. Indeed, the evidence is clear that for dangerous, hardened criminals, punishment works mostly when it is swift, sure, and severe. For petty offenders, on the other hand, treatment and rehabilitation seem to offer the best prospects, not incarceration.
In fact, the issue of prison overcrowding is not unique to the Bahamas, but is a regional and global concern. Illegal contraband and the emergence of gangs in prisons have also surfaced in other regional facilities. At the joint opening of the first annual Caribbean Association of Corrections and the 6th annual Association of Caribbean Heads of Corrections and Prison Services conferences, Minister Nottage says based on research, the evidence seems clear.
Prisons should be reserved almost exclusively for 5 categories of persons: violent, dangerous offenders, drugs, arms, and illicit and human traffickers, multiple recidivists, child molesters, and corruption offenders. Persons charged or convicted for non-violent, petty crimes should, as far as is possible, be consigned to prison only as a measure of last resort.
The National Security Minister says the purpose of lockup should be to protect society and reform inmates. President of the ACHCPS, John Rogier, is of the view the main contributing factor to overcrowding is that a number of inmates in prison should not be there, despite the fact that they've committed criminal offenses.
The establishment of an effective community correction system will see overcrowding in prisons drastically reduced. Prisons, it is believed, was developed for criminals who cannot be managed in the community. Therefore, any criminal who can be managed in the community should not be sent to prison.
The solution lies in a penal system that effectively reforms and is supported by society and government. He says there must be change in the laws.
Laws that will see changes in the sentencing policies, to the introduction of a community correction system which will deal with minor offenders. 3, the implementation of the restorative justice philosophy. 4, a youth justice system. 5, community justice system. 6, community policing initiatives. And 7, reintegration and resettlement.
Now, during the 2 week-long conferences, they're hoping to address not only the issues and challenges facing the prison and correction system, but also to come up with solutions and ways of actually implementing these solutions. Clint Watson, ZNS News.
Freedom fighter and father of party politics, William Bill Cartwright, was laid to rest today. Giovanni Storr takes a look at his life as his homegoing service was held today.
Despite his extensive contribution to the fight for civil rights and equality, William Bill Cartwright is a virtually unknown historical figure in the modern Bahamas. But Cartwright is responsible for deepening the democratic process, introducing party politics to the Bahamas, a system he formalized along with Cyril Stevenson and Henry Taylor with the launch of the Progressive Liberal Party in 1953. Yet head of the National Heroes Committee, Father Sebastian Campbell, says the Bahamas has failed to properly record the facts and give Cartwright the honors he's due.
The Parliament of the Bahamas has been extremely lazy in this regards. For to date, only one person, I believe, the late Milo B. Butler, has been declared a national hero by Parliament. We wait patiently for people of the stature of Bill Cartwright to die. then the flight with the term National Hero of the First Order.
After years of agitating, the National Heroes Committee informally named Bill Cartwright a national hero in 2011.
We ought to honor Cartwright and Taylor as the first two Progressive Liberal Party members of Parliament.
Prime Minister Perry Christie, who's noted for assisting Cartwright during his first administration, acknowledges that more could have and should be done to institutionalize and honor Cartwright and others who've helped to shape the Bahamas.
One of the things that we must do and have done under the aegis of the College of the Bahamas and ultimately the University of the Bahamas, to move immediately to record the history of our country, to fill in the gaps that have been left by those who have authored their own experiences.
And while refining the education system, the Prime Minister says it's a priority to have more lasting tributes to Bahamian legends like Bill Cartwright.
We have passed legislation in our Parliament, and this is where I will ask the Minister of Culture and the government leader in the House to bring that legislation forward, where in fact we have legislated for appropriate Bahamian honors, including that of national hero.
Giovanni Stewart, ZNS News.
Still to come in the Bahamas tonight, the decision over a life sentence handed down to a pastor from Grand Bahama. That story's after the break.